Hi everybody, how you all doing? This is Nim Gholkar bringing you yet another episode of Sydney Social Live. I hope you're all having a nice day so far. I know typically I do this show on a Sunday, but I'm in Townsville at the moment, and today's guest, I just could not resist coming in and doing a live chat with her, and so we are here on a Tuesday afternoon. So, as you all know, Sydney Social is a one of its kind, thought provoking talk show that puts the spotlight on social mindset and social behaviors that we observe around us. And today's special guest is the one and only Dushu Thangiah. Welcome, Dushy. Thank you so much for coming to Sydney Social. How do you feel about being on the show?
I am nervous and I am excited at the same time. Mixed emotions.
Mixed emotions. We are going to focus on the excited part of it.
Okay.
So we've got lots of exciting topics lined up for today for everybody. So I'm going to begin by just reading out a brief bio about Dushy, and honestly, no bio can do her justice because she's had such a stellar career, and it's going to take forever, but we've got a little snapshot of what she's done so far. So Dushy migrated to Australia over 35 years ago from her home country, Sri Lanka. She qualified as a management accountant from the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, London. She holds a graduate certificate in housing management and policy from Swinburne University, Melbourne, and she's a graduate of the Australian Institute of Company Directors. When Dushy joined Yumba Meta Limited in 1995, she held a diverse range of senior corporate accounting roles, both in Sri Lanka and in Australia. She has worked in the community housing and community services sector for over 29 years, is a highly regarded advocate for equal opportunity for vulnerable people, particularly First Nations people and people from culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds. Dushy has extensive experience in a wide range of areas, including, but not limited to, community housing, homelessness, domestic and family violence prevention, human rights, health, early education, public intoxication and related issues, disability services, and public policy that impacts vulnerable and disadvantaged people. And this is just a bird's eye view. And look at her. She's the epitome of grace, calm, poise. I don't know how you do it. I mean, honestly, I'd be tearing my hair apart if I was doing all the things that you've done. Is there a secret mantra to the calm?
The strong belief in my religion.
Okay, I like that. I like the sound of that. That is awesome, and I second that. So, Dushy, we've got lots of topics lined up. Are we ready to dive in?
Yes.
As ready as we're ever going to see.
Going to be. Yes, that's correct.
All right. So, firstly, Dushy, you started in Yumba Meta, I believe, as an administrative assistant, and today you are the CEO. What a journey. So, what are some of the biggest life lessons or learnings that you've had in this journey that you'd like to put the spotlight on?
When I started at Yumba Meta, I already had done a number of senior roles in Sri Lanka and in Australia. And when I came to Townsville, I had my first young child, and I decided to take a step back in my career because that's what I wanted to do. Because I wanted to be good at being, do well as a mother and spend time with my child. At the same time, I didn't want to give up my career totally. So, and not-for-profit was an area that I was like very interested in, and I had volunteered quite a bit in my life with my grandmother and mother and sisters, and all of them. We are all into this volunteering back home.
Okay.
So it was probably a natural progression.
Yeah.
So Yumba Meta was a natural progression, and I thoroughly enjoyed what I did. But I worked from 9 to 3, and I did that until then. Of course, my position changed gradually. People see. I suppose people see what your talents are.
Yes.
You don't have to go after them. That's what I believe, that people see what your worth is, and that's how I got the role as CEO. And I did this role part-time until my second daughter finished grade 12 in 2013.
Wow. Okay. You're going to write a book someday, Dushy? I'll be the first one time to buy a copy and read it.
I have some very interesting reflections.
You do,
Yes.
and you should write one. No, that's awesome, and what a journey. I mean, imagine beginning where you began and then reaching the heights that you have today. When you and I were chatting offline, you said something interesting, that it's so important for us to be the right kind of role models for our children, for the next generation. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, that this is another observation that I have made. Lots of young people, Indian children and Australian kids, my children's friends and their friends, everyone comes and talks to me. I don't know why, because somehow I end up being this person who is always listening to people's problems.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I've noticed is that children do question when parents don't act as what they actually are telling them to do. So it's really important. I think parents are the first role models for any child. So I think it's really important for us to do what we say and practice what we preach.
Yeah.
I think that is so important, because you don't want, when we are all going to have children and their teenage years, adolescent times, that they are going to be challenging.
Yes.
And especially in this country, children do talk back to parents and question you, unlike the way we were brought up.
True.
So you should not be in a position when they point and say, but you did this.
Yeah.
Why can't I do?
What gives you the right to say this?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really important role that we play as parents, and it's important for us to be very conscious about what we do and what we say, and how, it's important for us to be authentic.
You said something very interesting about it's so important to practice what we preach. Now, sometimes, I have met women, for instance, who have great aspirations for their children. They want them to take strategic risks. They want them to be confident. They want them to stare down bullies and all of that. But they themselves have spent their entire life not doing anything that they are telling their children to do. So you're so right that you can't pour from an empty cup.
So, very often we try to live our dreams through our children. We had to be very conscious about that, because we, like Khalil Gibran, he said, the children come from us, but they are not ours to possess. They have their own karma, they have their own lives. We just have to stand back. I mean, we can provide the right advice and guidance and supports and everything, but we have to allow them to live their lives.
Absolutely.
Do we want happy children, or we want highly earning children? This is a serious question that we need to ask ourselves. Just because we have migrated from another country, we think that everyone has to be a certain profession or things like. Everybody is not made for that.
Yeah.
We just have to allow our children to have their dreams, their aspirations, and just support that.
Yeah.
I know it's really hard as a parent sometimes. That sometimes children till they're 25, 26, they don't find their way. But we have to trust that they will find their way. And, it is hard, but I think we have to do it. Only us as parents can do it.
Absolutely. So, right now there's this wave of redundancies that are happening across the country, and a lot of people are in career transition. And I constantly come across people who say to me, I want to do a complete career pivot. And I say, oh, why is that? Oh, because I took up this line because my parents insisted all those years ago. And now that the universe has brought me to this, I have decided I want to now pursue what I'm passionate about. And it harks back to childhood and being compelled. And look, I'm sure parents have their own reasons, but we, like you said, we must keep in mind that they come with their own.
Yeah, I think we are caught up in this financial security. But fortunately in this country, that is not as bad as back home. So there is a chance for us to live our dreams and try different things. Maybe we try something, we know that until we try it, we don't know whether we are good at it or not.
True.
So even those kind of flexibility we have to give in, instead of saying, stop doing this and stop doing that. Putting that negativity in a child's mind.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if you see that young people who have done well, is only because they have had that freedom to do what they want to do.
True. And when you play to your strengths, you are going to perform, right? But if you're always out of your zone of genius, then you're going to underdeliver, underperform, which again leads to anxiety, it leads to stress.
That's exactly right. And a lot of suicide happening in our community, which is really, really sad.
Very alarming. That actually brings me to it segues perfectly into my next topic, which was around anxiety and depression. And it's not just the big cities that are struggling with this, like you said, even in regional parts of
Very much
Australia.
so.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Why is it? What can be done?
I think there's this real big stigma attached, especially in our community. It's a really big stigma attached to it. I think that is itself sad, because just like the way our body goes through different injuries and illnesses, our mind also can go through. We just have to look at it that way,
Yeah.
and be compassionate and do what we can to help people who are going through a rough patch or a dark space at that time, because people get into that state when they feel that nobody is there for them. And I can't even imagine what an awful place that is to be in. And young people, now we have all sorts of things that they are challenged with, much more than what we were challenged with.
True.
So we really have to be very understanding and compassionate and be there for the children. It doesn't matter whether they are my child or somebody else's child. Just like I always have like an open door policy, so lots of kids come and talk to me. I'm just having sometimes I even angry they have a fallout with my daughter, and she's like, what are they doing in this house? I'm like, nothing to do with you, go away. And then I just keep talking to them. It's like that. I just feel they're all our children.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they feel that they're comfortable to talk, just listen. Sometimes we don't have the solutions, but just for them to offload in a non-judgmental, safe place is all what we can create and give.
Absolutely. I love it. And look, sadly, a lot of people are on antidepressants when they don't need to be. Some, it's a real need, of course, but many others, even if they felt accepted, perhaps they wouldn't need to resort to all these things.
And I'll be very honest, Nim, very often I refer them to religious counselors, and I know people shy away from that, but I have seen amazing, amazing results in young people when they have taken that. I just only say there's such and such a person, that sometimes they're Catholic, sometimes they're Hindus, Islamic, whatever. The right person, when they go to, they come back and say, we feel so good, we just have found ourselves again. So many people. So we shouldn't shy away from our religious practices and use our culture and religion to help our kids. That's what we as adults should be doing.
Definitely, definitely. Talking about stress, anxiety, depression, let's talk about something else that I'm sure is contributing to stress in society, and that is really people getting caught up in titles, okay, and in social status. We also talked a little bit about postcode snobbery and all of that, and it's all very interesting. I know you have an interesting example as well. So tell our lovely viewers a little bit about all this.
Yeah, so I met this lady. Actually, I didn't even know her that well, but anyway, she got into a conversation with me in a social circle, and then she said to me that, I have bought a house in such and such a suburb. Why doctors think only they can buy houses in that suburb? And I was just honestly blown away. I'm like, what does that have to do with doctors buying houses and you buying a house there? You like that suburb, you buy a house there. Why do you have to buy a house in a suburb where you think that doctors are living or something like
Only
that?
One's entitled to buy there, apparently. That's the impression, isn't it?
And are you then going to get yourself into financial hardship just to prove a point?
Yeah.
It really blew me away. And then I thought, actually, it's quite sad that we get caught up in wanting to have friends who have a title or of a particular social status or whatever. Are they actually being genuinely good friends to us is what matters. It doesn't matter who they are, from where they are, and can I be my true self with them? To me, that's what a true. I'd rather have 2 of those friends than have 40 people whom I'm really not. I cannot be who I am.
Yeah. As they say, when you look up to someone, make sure that they are worthy of being looked up to, isn't it? And you're not looking up to them just for the wrong reasons.
No.
Things that are materialistic and which will, today they're there. A title is there today, might go tomorrow.
That's right.
In fact, I just wrote an article this morning about people running after titles, but the minute that person's title is taken away from them, suddenly they are not given the importance. Isn't that sad?
It is very, very sad. It's really very sad. And to tell you the truth, I always say to my board tomorrow, if I have to work under my management team, I'll be the happiest because I'm only working for a purpose. I'm not working because I have this title.
Yeah.
So I know that we have a really excellent management team, and they're young, vibrant, and they are all very committed to our cause. And I have no problem working under them at all.
I must say here that Dushy's title as CEO is, of course, as aspirational as it can get. Having said that, this is one lady who is unafraid to fold up her sleeves and get in the trenches and work with her tribe, and that is so important. And that's true leadership,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And I think if, especially in a not-for-profit, if you don't know your community, what are you really advocating for? You can't sit in your ivory tower and think that you're going to bring genuine solution to people. You have to mingle with the people. You have to, be with them,
Yeah.
support them, so
Yeah.
that you really know what their stories are and
Yeah.
what their struggles are. So you can advocate for meaningful solutions.
And that's very important, being able to advocate for meaningful solutions. That's such a powerful sentence. You said that getting to know your community is important, and that brings me to my next point. Now, in your line of work with Yumba Meta and all that you've been doing, you've obviously come in very close connection with people of disadvantaged backgrounds. And one interesting thing you mentioned is quite often you notice a sense of judgment. People are judgmental towards those who come from these disadvantaged backgrounds. So, shed a bit more light on that.
So I'll give you some examples which really have shocked me, because I don't know, I never have thought that people think that way. I remember when I had my second child and I was on maternity leave, and some of the clients, they come and visit me, they call me, and I said, just come and have a cup of tea with me or something. So one of my friends, she came and then she said to me, oh, I came earlier, but I saw this old, broken down car in your... she said, why do you have these people in your house? I was just so shocked to even think that I actually called her a friend, to tell you the truth. Because, and I said to her, what do you mean by these people? I said, and she said, oh, these black people, why do you have them at home? I said, you know what? My house is open to anyone. And I don't think of people as they're poor people or, disadvantaged people or black people or brown people or whatever. I said, how do you feel when Australians say, oh, these Indians or brown people to us? I said, we do get hurt, right?
Yeah.
I said, then how come we leash this out at other people? So it's one thing for us, but it's another thing for...
Yeah.
Yep. And there was another doctor who said this to me, Indian doctor. She said, Auntie, why do you keep advocating for these people? Again, these people, these words that they use, these people, there's no hope for them. And I said to her, you know what, I want to remind you something. I said, you are working in the public hospital. You are supposed to provide a non-judgmental service to anyone who walks into that hospital. I said, I doubt that you can actually provide that non-judgmental service.
And look, if no one advocates for them, there will be no hope for them, right? So we can't just give up saying, why bother?
So are we not going to then, all these refugees who come, are we not going to help them at all? How do they integrate into society if we all turn a blind eye and say, oh, that's not my business?
Yeah, not my problem. Yeah, I've got other things, other fish to fry. Yeah, and look, volunteering is also something that is important for the community to recognize, because very often we are aspirational as migrants when we come in, pursuing paying off mortgages and all of that. And very often volunteering takes a backseat. So you would agree, right, that volunteering should play a big role?
Yeah, see, I always feel that when people say, oh, you're doing social service, but I do get paid for this job. So I do my part, volunteering, like I'm part of the North Queensland Hindu community. I'm on that committee. Then I volunteer at the Cleveland Youth Detention Center, Meals on Wheels, I have volunteered. Then I also do tutoring for Cowboys House, which has boys who come from remote communities and boarding school.
Yeah.
So there's a number of
and dishing up yummy dosas at Indian fare.
So there's a number of other things that I do,
Yeah.
other than my work hours, which I feel that I'm not paid for that. But that's I know I have accumulated a lot of knowledge and understanding of systems and processes.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to help anyone who needs that help.
Yeah, that is awesome. Look, amazing. And I think more people should follow in your footsteps. Talking about following in your footsteps, a lot of people out there watching us, especially the women who are looking at aspirational roles, wanting someday to become a CEO or lead a company or, get into the executive suite. What are some pieces of advice you would give them as a fellow leader? What would you tell them?
I think you must have a clear purpose where you're going, and then you must also assess your home life. It's very important for us as women to do that, because otherwise we could have a high powerful career but end up having children who blame you for not spending time with them, or a husband who says that you were never at home or something like that, and that as women it does hurt us.
Yes.
And let's be honest.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't care what people say, but as the world has evolved, we as women, the expectation on us, I think, has stayed the same. So we are expected to be have this magic power to do everything.
Yeah.
But I think, no, we shouldn't set that standard. Do what we can do, but dedicate some quality time for your own self. There's no point in running after career, working 10 hours a day and then very quickly getting tired, and then that's where depression and things comes in. So set some very realistic goals, but whatever you do well, and I promise you people will notice you.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to run after that. People will notice you if you do what you're doing well.
Yes.
But if you're always looking at the rear mirror or too forward, two traffic lights ahead, you're not going to miss where you are at the moment.
Very true. You also mentioned that sometimes when you do things for your family, a lot of people tend to do it begrudgingly,
Yes, because I know a lot of women say this to me, my children have to be really thankful because I sacrificed my career. And, I think that's a wrong way to think of life. You have to do, if you're sacrificing, you have to do it happily.
Yes.
Because you are doing it for your family.
Yeah.
Like I sacrificed my career, took a step back for a long time, but I'm so happy I did that now, because the children even remember those sneaky ice cream visits that we went to, and the shows that we went to, and the picnics we went to. All those things the children remember, and to me, I cannot put money value on that at all.
Absolutely.
But I did take a huge dip in my, financially and my career. But it doesn't matter. That can always come. But whatever we are doing, I think we have to do it happily.
Yeah. There's no point reminding them, I did so much for you, I gave up this for you all the time. It's not fair on the kids as
and
well.
Don't even expect that gratitude from your
Exactly.
children. You'll never get it.
Never.
You'll never get it. So, so you might as well look after yourself and do the right thing for you.
Yeah. No, very true. Another important thing in the journey towards leadership, how important do you think it is to have a mentor in your journey?
Very, very important. But it's also more important to choose the right mentor. It's not about that person's title or which social status that they come from, but you actually have to look what impact that person in their life has created in community. That is the mentor who will really guide you in the right path.
So
not
true.
Someone who has a title and they have a big house and a flashy car and no, I'm not talking about.
I think the word is impact. It's so important. Yeah, to have a mentor who's had an impact, who's had a purpose.
Yep.
And that is important.
Yeah, I just sometimes watch all these people send me different things, like people from very humble backgrounds in India who actually create huge impact in community. They don't have money, they don't have a big house, but just the goodness of their heart.
Yeah.
It's amazing the impact that they create.
Yeah. And those are the mentors we need, right? That's
Absolutely.
Well, Dushy, we've talked about lots of heavy duty topics. So now we're going to come to this fun rapid fire round. I'm just going to ask you some very quick, easy, simple, fun questions. Okay, so let's begin with a very simple one. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Always?
Always.
And how do you have your coffee?
Black.
Sugar, milk, nothing?
No milk, no sugar.
Right. And is it the first thing you need in the morning when you...
And I have Indian coffee only.
Oh, is it?
Indian filtered coffee.
Okay, great. Books or movies?
Both.
Both?
Both.
Okay.
I love movies and I love books.
Okay. And typically fiction, non-fiction?
Now I would say I read more historical, political, that kind of books really interest me now.
Yeah. But I think with books, the interests keep evolving, right? Like there are different points in your life.
That's right.
There are different genres
That's
you
right.
tend to lean towards.
Yeah. I like biographies and,
Yeah.
that kind of thing now.
Like I said, you should write your own book, so then we can say, have you read Dushy's biography?
I don't know about that.
I'll keep persisting until one day she decides, okay, you know what, just to get you off my back, I might write my book. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night owl.
Really?
Yeah.
So morning, are you one of those people who like, okay, not till I've had my coffee, don't talk to me till I've had my
No,
coffee?
no.
You're fine in the
No,
morning.
I'm fine in the morning. Once I wake up, I'm fine.
Okay, but you're more productive later in the day as
I
such?
think I like doing things at night time.
Okay.
Even my cleaning. I annoy everybody at home, but I just feel it's peaceful and, there's no noise around. And
Yeah. Okay. Great. And your favorite attire?
sari.
Oh, I knew she was going to say that. So you got a collection.
Yeah, I do. I love saris, and I just feel really confident when I wear sari.
Because you look the way you look when you're in a sari.
I just feel myself. Let me
Feel
say,
yourself.
I just feel myself.
Yeah, so you come into work quite often. Like we are at the Yumba Meta premises, as you can see, and she is dressed ever so elegantly, as always.
And for all my public functions, official functions, I wear sari.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that brings us, I could chat to Dushy forever, and we are going to continue chatting offline. But Dushy, before we wind up, any last words you'd like to tell? Because my viewers are not just in Australia, they're also viewing this from different parts of India, and other parts of the world as well. Any last words? Pearls of wisdom, anything?
Yeah, it's not words of wisdom, but I think we are in a lucky country, and it's truly a lucky country. And we should give, we should forget about how children are brought up in India and things like that, and give our children that opportunity to embrace their dreams. That's what not get caught up in this competition. And children are beautiful things that came from us, and we should give them a beautiful life.
I love that. I don't know if you watched this Bollywood movie called Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge. There is a dialogue where the daughter tells her father she wants to go on this trip, and he's been a very strict father. And the iconic dialogue which became famous is Ja Simran Ji Le Simran. Her name is Simran. Ji Le is go live your life, and that's exactly what you're saying. Like let the children pursue their dreams.
And we are really struggling and working hard for that. So why not give that opportunity to our children, which we didn't have?
Yes, very true. Thank you so much for joining us on Sydney Social Life. I've had so much fun, and I'm sure you've taken away a lot as well, my lovely viewers. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now. Take care.
Bye.